So for this morning's session, if you've got a hard floor, then you might want to have a yoga mat nearby for when we go down onto the floor, just to protect yourself. If you're on a carpet, then you may well just be fine. And as with most of our previous sessions, if you've got a scarf nearby, then that's probably going to really help you out when we go down onto the floor. If you don't have one, just quickly nip out and see if you can grab a scarf. I mean, I've literally just taken this out of my coat cupboard. A scarf, pashmina, anything like that, just something that's going to be able to help you when we go down onto the floor. So we're going to start today just standing with those feet hip width apart. Just take a moment to think about the posture. Make sure that you've got that pelvis tucked forwards. So when we're standing, we don't want to be arching. We want to just make sure that we've got that pelvis tucked forwards. And the knees are soft. So they're not bent, but they are relaxed. They're not locked out. Just taking the hands in front of the body, and I just want you to rotate the body round from side to side. Get your waist moving. Feel the stretch through the waist, the top of the back. Just swinging nicely side to side. Good. Keep going. Brilliant. Fantastic. Now just placing the hands on the top of the hip, so just lower than the waist, where the joint is on that hip joint. Just making the knees slightly softer now and taking some nice big hip circles. Hip circles are absolutely fantastic. So many of us become really, really tight, not just in our lower back, but in those hip joints. So these are really great exercises to do. And when we're doing these, we want to try and keep the shoulders as stable as possible. So the work is happening from the belly button down. Good. Going back the other way. So you're really arching the back, pressing it behind you, pushing to the side, and then really opening the hips out as it comes forwards. So just trying to make these circles as big as you possibly can. All the way around. Big, 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 big circles. If you've been sitting down a lot, this is just a really nice one to do when you stand up, just to get those hip joints and the lower back moving. That's wonderful, fantastic. Taking the feet slightly wider again now, keeping those toes facing forward so we're completely parallel, just bending into one knee and pressing down to the side. You'll just feel a slight stretch down. If you're not really feeling too much of a stretch as you do this, you can just widen the step. So just work to where you need to be to feel that stretch. Make sure the feet are parallel. We just go over again, stretching out, coming up, stretching out, and coming up. Nice. Now from this position here, I just want you to take one toe and turn it out towards the side. So you've got one parallel and one turning out. I'm going to press the hips out to the side, take your arm up, and just see how far over you can go. Side bending over. And what you want to try and do as you side bend over is keep one arm on top of the other. Good. Going over again, hip out. So try not to allow yourself to go forwards. Keep that top shoulder really, really open as you stretch up. Just as far as you feel comfortable going. And up we come. Turning the shoulders now over that rotated leg and relaxing down. Just again as far as you feel comfortable going. It's important to make sure your head is nice and heavy here, so the head is hanging as low as you can. Stretching out the back of that leg. Relaxing both of the knees now so they're bending and rolling up through the back, protecting that lower back. So we come up, bring that toe to the side, turning the other one out now. We'll repeat over to the other side. So press the bum out to begin. The arm comes up and over we go, stretching out through the side. Nice long waist. Up. Good, and again, down we go. Hip pushes out, stretching over, trying to keep one shoulder right on top of the other so we're not leaning forwards. And up. Turning the chest over that leg and relaxing down. Head hanging nice and heavy. Relax. bending into those knees, rolling up through the back. Good. Bringing both feet parallel. Good. Just before we go down onto the floor today, we're going to press into the feet. So I just want you to really press into your toes. And press into your toes. We often forget about our feet. And again, from side to side, really pressing into the toes. Get those toe joints moving. Good. And some ankle circles. Get those joints moving. Round we go. Round we go. Both directions. Fantastic. Okay, so, like I said at the start, if you're on a hard floor, you might want to grab your yoga mat, or a mat of some description, down onto the floor, just to protect yourself as we go down, just making sure you can actually still see me. Hope you can. Oh. Right, and also while we're down on the floor, if you've got a scarf, if you know that it's something which helps you, do have that nearby. We're going to start off with our pike stretch. So sitting with the legs out straight in front of you. And what we want to try and do here is think about the lower back. So often as soon as we sit, we're actually in this position. You can see how my pelvis has almost rotated underneath my body, and everything here then is becoming quite crunched down. So what we want to do is think about the bottom up. So it's the pelvis that rotates underneath us, and that's what brings the chest up, allowing us to sit tall. So the chest is just on top of that lower back, so we're sitting up nice and straight. Just have a moment to make sure you're feeling relaxed in this position. If you know that using a scarf helps you with this stretch, then you're just going to hook that underneath the instep of your feet. You can roll that around your wrists, and we're going to gradually pull ourselves down, using the hips like a hinge. So you want to try and keep that lower back as long as you possibly can, so the abdominals stay long, and this is where having a scarf can be really helpful, so that you're able to still breathe, your lungs are still working. Good. Holding that stretch. Holding that stretch. And carefully releasing it, coming back up. Still focusing on that pelvis being underneath us. Good. Taking the stretch again, trying to relax the kneecaps. Keep using the scarf if you know that's what works for you. If you don't need to use a scarf, if you can reach down without doing it, without putting too much strain on your body, then that's absolutely fine as well. So just really listen to what works for you. Just holding that stretch. Breathing and relaxing. And up we come. Good. Nice. So I'm just going to change my angle here. So all you're going to do here is just bend one knee in. So if you've been sitting in your pike position, you're going to just bring one knee in. This straight leg, I'm just going to angle it out slightly. Now, depending on your flexibility, depends on how wide you choose to make that angle. And again, this knee here is dependent on your flexibility. So listen to your body and just do which one is going to work for you. Again, using the scarf if that's helpful, underneath the instep of your foot. Using both hands here and pulling yourself down. So there's a slight twist. There's a little bit of a rotation as you're coming down. Use that scarf to pull you down. Relaxing the kneecaps. And up we come. Same thing again, either with or without the scarf. Down we go. Relaxing into the stretch. Make sure you're still breathing. I know a lot of you who come to my classes hold your breath when you stretch. Please don't hold your breath. Make sure you're breathing. Good. And up we come. Fantastic. So we're going to switch over now to the other leg. So one in, one out. Again, just choose that angle and notice how maybe on one side you may feel that you've got more flexibility and that leg can be in a slightly different position. Hook it underneath the instep of your foot. And down we go. Pulling down. Again, try to feel like your abdominals are long so that you can still fill your lungs. You're not kind of just crunching only this way, because that's not going to really be stretching out the legs. You want to be pulling yourself down forwards this way. Relax. Come back to sitting. And again, second time, same thing, down we go. Notice that rotation as you're pulling yourself down. There's a stretch in the back, the hips, down the legs, and up we come. Fantastic. So we're going to take a full straddle now. So again, listen to your body. How wide your legs go is absolutely up to you. So just sitting with those legs out. And again, it's all about the pelvis. So when you're trying to sit up straight, don't just think about sticking up the chest and pulling the shoulders back. It's got to start from the bottom up. So the first thing you want to do is get that pelvis underneath you. Feel that rotation as it comes underneath you. And then everything else just kind of goes where it needs to be. It just all sits one on top of the other. So from here, if you feel that you've got anything left to give, just walk those hands forward slightly. For some of you, just sitting with the legs out is enough of a stretch, and that is fine. So again, just listen to what your body is telling you. It should be uncomfortable, but not like an ow, bad pain. And you should feel that just down the tops of the legs here. And release that stretch, slightly come up, give yourself a moment. And same again, relaxing forwards, using those hips like a hinge. Make sure you're breathing and relaxing. This has got to be one of my favourite stretches. Absolutely love this one. Just feels, I don't know, feels good, feels nice. A lot of you out there think I'm a bit of a sadist when I do my stretches, because I always tell you how much I love it and how nice it feels, and I know that not everybody feels like that, so I'm sorry if it's hurting, but it is good for you. So bringing those legs in, lovely, and just give them a little bit of a jiggle just to release those muscles that have been under stress. Tucking both legs around to the side now, so we're sitting like so, a bit like a mermaid. Take your hand and you can grab hold of your ankle or your shin just to hold on to, taking the opposite arm up. We're going to side bend over, and the same thing as when you're standing, try and keep that top arm really nice and open. So you're not folding forwards, you're staying nice and open. And up, release. And again, up, sitting really tall, straight back. And over we go. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's really nice, really shaping the waist and toning all those waist muscles. Up and over. Fantastic. Just swing those legs round, over onto the other side. Again, take hold of that leg. Sit up nice and tall. So remember, posture, it's got to come from the bottom up. So it's not just about sticking the chest forwards. It's about getting that pelvis moved and underneath you, and then the rest of it takes care of itself. Arm up. And over we go. Good. Coming up. Down. Stay nice and tall. Arm up. Relax into it. Over we go. And lift. Nice, really good, well done. So now we're going to stretch out the hip flexors. As you know, I'm always nagging those of you who come to my classes, or used to before all the crazy started, how important this hip flexor is to stretch out. So there's a few different variations here. Basically, you want to have this leg nice, wide step in front of you, okay? Because when we push forwards, you want this knee to stay over the ankle and not go over the toe. So we don't want to be here. So make sure it's a nice big wide step. Now for some of you, placing a pillow underneath this knee is going to really help if you've got knee issues. Going to push forwards, stretching out that hip flexor. Try and put that tailbone down if you can. Now, if you've really got some issues with being in that position, you can lift it up into a lunge and just take the weight off the knee. It's really whatever suits you. What I'd like to try and do today is add an extra stretch here. So the leg that's back, that same arm is going to come up. And I just want you to try and stretch over to the side ever so slightly. Balance obviously dependent. You can place that hand on the floor, or if you've got some yoga bricks when you do this another time, that might help as well to balance you. Good. Release that stretch. Nice. Good. Give yourself a moment before we change over to the other side. Nice big wide step. Remember this angle is very important. That's a nice big wide angle. Tailbone down, and try and think about the hips and the shoulders here as well. So don't let yourself twist open. Try and make sure as you press forwards, both hip bones are pressing forwards nice and square. So again, if you're more comfortable taking that back knee off the floor, that's fine. Do what works for you. We're going to take that outside arm up and over, and just see if you can stretch a little bit there. Release. Relax out that stretch. Good, nice, well done. So from here, we're going to go into a down dog. So if any of you have ever done any yoga, this is based on a bit of a yoga-y exercise. So all we're going to do is from all fours, tuck the toes underneath and come up into this position. First of all, I want you to really push down into the heels and really feel the backs of the legs stretching. You can adjust your hands and feet to make yourself comfortable. The next thing I'd like you to do is actually to really press your chest down, and you'll feel the biggest stretch through the front of the chest and the shoulders, pressing it down. Good. Release slightly. So you're now carrying the weight 50-50 between hands and feet. And then again, pressing it back into the feet, pushing the chest down, stretching through the back. And release. And bend your knees a little bit now so you're able to walk your hands in towards your feet. So we're now hanging over your bent legs. And from here I want you to straighten the legs now and see if you can just increase the stretch down the back of the legs. If you're able to, you can take a hold of the legs and pull yourself down. And relax. Bending the knees now. And really pressing into the lower back, rounding the spine, really rounding the back as we carefully roll up through the spine. Rolling up, the hip presses forwards, the shoulders roll back, and we feel nice and tall. Good. And from here we're now going to press the hips back, keeping the legs straight, and we're going to press into a tabletop stretch. So again, the backs of the legs, the lower back. Again, dropping the upper body down over bent knees and rounding the spine, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up. Shoulders back. One more time. Pressing forwards. Ah, yes, hello. Pressing forwards. Relaxing the knees and the upper body, hanging down. And then rolling up, rolling up, rolling up. Hips push forwards. And the shoulders roll back. My dog does like to take a spot on the stage. I'm just going to, can I just move over here a little bit, please? Thank you. Right, so standing on the mat now, feet nice and parallel. I'm just going to take a deep breath in. I want you to think about the posture, think about the hips pressing forwards. Breathing in, we're going to breathe out as we side bend over. We breathe in as we come to standing using those core muscles, and we breathe out. Big stretch through the shoulders. Same thing to the other side. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and out. Big wide stretch. Good. We're going to go same again each side. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in and out. Final time. Breath in. Breath out. stand for a moment and feel your body. Notice your body and put some thought into the posture. So think about how you have 2/3 of your weight in the balls of your feet, just very light weight in the heels so that you feel long and pulled up through the backs of the legs. Feel that there's a little bit of work going on in the buttocks in order to keep that pelvis pressed forwards. The pubic bone feels lifted forward so that lower back feels elongated. And then you can lift up and feel long through the abdominals, open and wide through the chest. The chin is lifted, so we should feel tall. There should be no tension, but you should feel long, lean, and just gorgeous and fabulous.